we have nothing special. Then on Monday, I will monitor the Euro-German Bundesbank monthly report.
Oops, wrong one.
And then I will monitor the monetary policy statement for the Bank of Japan for the yen. No, it's not a major. It's simply a monitor. Yeah. No. Sorry. You are right. I have not read the rest of the news. It's a major, higher H4 plus, so higher time frames. So the Bank of Japan outlook report, the monetary policy statement, the policy rate, which will be neutral, and then later the press conference.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And note that it is a holiday, a bank holiday in USA, so expect a quiet day that Monday.
What is it? Martin Luther. Okay, cool.
Then on Tuesday we will have the Euro-German view economic sentiment, major bullish.
So those ones above are not worthwhile.
The average earnings index 3 months of the year, it may be interesting to monitor, but not necessarily a big one. Sometimes it's interesting to follow because it is somewhat linked also to the inflation. So in the present context, it's interesting to monitor.
Okay, I'll leave them there with care, just in case.
And then we have the Eurozone economic sentiment and also bullish.
Gotcha.
Then we will have the Kiwi GDT price index, so major higher time frames, and to be defined.
Oh yeah, always. And I'll scroll down.
On Wednesday, we have the CAD CPI month over month, major higher time frames to be defined, or a lot of no forecasts, so that's strange. Perhaps the calendar is not updated yet.
Well, no, the Kiwi is normally doesn't come out, and CAD is generally to be defined.
Yeah, and then we have also the CAD core CPI month over month, so major higher time frame and also to be defined. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's it for. No, that's not it for Wednesday. We still have other important news. Yeah, we have another big one, which is the CAD. So the Bank of Canada Monetary Policy Report, Bank of Canada rate statement, and the overnight rate, which should be neutral. And then later we have the Bank of Canada press conference.
Okay.
And then what do we have? We have the yen trade balance, major higher time frames, bearish. And then we have for the Aussie, it is the equivalent of the non-farm payroll. So we have the employment change, so major higher time frames bearish, and the unemployment rate neutral.
Okay.
And that's it for Wednesday. Yeah. On Thursday, we have another big red one, so the euro main refinancing rate, and
okay.
So major plus higher time frames plus, and neutral. And we will have similarly the monetary policy statement and the ECB press conference. Then we have to monitor the US dollar natural gas storage and crude oil inventories. And then we have the Kiwi CPI, Consumer Price Index, quarter over quarter, so major higher time frames and bearish. And then that's it for Thursday.
Yeah, it's kind of a quiet week this week.
Yeah, but we have two important events. Yeah. And on Friday, we will have. So we have Haskell speaking from the
This will probably make things jump around. So let me see if I can do this. Stop it jumping. Haskell.
Yeah, Haskell. So due to participate in a panel discussion, so let's forget. Then we have Lagarde speaking. Panel discussion, let's forget. Then we have, I will monitor the pound flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI. So both monitor. Let's say even major in the context of the Brexit, which is more and more, which is certain now. And for the first one, so a bit bullish, both bullish, in fact. Then we have for the card the core retail sales month-over-month, so major and to be defined, and the card retail sales month-over-month, similarly major and to be defined. And then I will monitor the US dollar flash manufacturing PMI and flash services PMI. So simply monitor and both neutral.
Okay. Cool. So let me see. I just want to do one more thing. 95 up to 15. So there's about 80 news announcements all over this week. Normally it's nearer 100. So there's less news announcements, but they are extra major ones, super big ones. Okay, you'll see what I'm getting to in a minute. Right. So anything marked with H4 plus applies to people trading the H4 time frame and above. Anything marked major applies to anything from the smaller time frames and above. And when they're marked here, don't place any orders 1 hour prior to the news coming out, and get out of the trade within half an hour of the news coming out. If you're trading standard or SAM and you've got lots of unit tape, but then you can protect your account by taking profit rather than just completely getting out of all the orders. So if perhaps you've got, for standard and SAM, you've got several scale-ins, you could take 2 or 3 of them off if you manage to get that many, and still be left with a couple underneath. But for primers, because it's such a dangerous area, just get out of the thing completely. What happens is, if there's a surprise that comes out, then prices can spike up and down that much that they can knock out any profits you've got and your account, or impact your account at least. And what we're after here is to protect your account money. Don't care about profit so much, but if you don't have any money in your account, you can't trade. Full stop. Okay. The items marked Pling Major Plus are ones that Eusebio will stay up for and trade himself. They're like to impact on, so they're the biggies. Ones that will probably have a really good impact and be good for a change. When the news comes out, if you haven't already in there, wait for them to come out. This applies to major as well. Wait for them to come out and see if you can get once the news is over and the volatility is settled, see if you can get in. Volatility hasn't been that much lately, but in the past it's been quite big. So for the new people, when I'm saying this, you're probably thinking, why is he saying that when prices aren't moving that much? Even the non-farm payroll these days isn't making that much of a ripple in the markets, but it could, and so we've just got to be careful about the things. Okay, having said that, any major news coming out on the USD, the euro and the yen, treat it with respect no matter the pair that you're trading. So if you're trading Aussie Kiwi and there's news coming out on the euro, pretend that it's coming out on the Kiwi or the euro and treat it the same way. No trades 1 hour before, get out half an hour beforehand. For the smaller pairs, anything coming up on, say, for instance, the CAD or the Kiwi or the Aussie or the Swiss, have I missed one? Nope. Then if you're not trading in a pair with that particular currency in it, then, like for instance, the euro dollar doesn't have the CAD in it, then you can just pay attention to the news, but you don't have to be quite as risk averse while trading that pair if news is coming out on a smaller currency. Okay, and one more thing. The pound kind of straddles between the big pairs and the little pairs. So if there's news coming up on the pound, just treat it like it's a major at the moment, like a euro or US, and just be super careful about it because it could cause an impact. Okay, having said that, let's have a look and see what this week's ranges were like. And here's the ranges. If you've got any questions, let me know.
We have had very small ranges these last 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So last year we started off over here, and I thought that was pretty bad, and then it got down smaller and smaller towards the middle of the year while Brexit was messing around. And then Brexit kind of got sorted out, and now while we're waiting for Brexit to actually finish, the ranges have been getting even tighter and tighter. So that was February to June last year, July to December last year, and this is the first 3 weeks this year so far. And we're getting smaller and tighter ranges. So it makes it harder to trade. You've got to be really careful getting into what I'm finding is entries in consolidation zones when they break out tend to not break out and fall back in. So it thinks you've got a really good setup and it turns into mush. So it's, yeah, tending to become almost like scalping, which thankfully we might have a solution to. Maybe, haven't ever seen that yet. And okay, so these are the ranges. How far down in this lot do you want to go, Eusebio? To the euro, pound, euro, yen?
Euro, yen.
Okay, so I'll add that one in. And if we pull those out, those 7 pairs, I'll add it here. And it was 570. And I just checked them again this morning. They're still the same. So Eusebio's getting it. These are the pairs that we recommend that you trade through the week, that you monitor. The pound is still kind of jumpy and spiky because of Brexit coming up. Perhaps concentrate on these ones, but they're not moving that much, so the amount of time you spend on them may not produce as much money as you expect. But anyway, what Eusebio is going to do is match up the pairs here with the news so that you get a better idea on each day what pair to pick. Okay, so let's do it, Eusebio. On Sunday we've got nothing, and on Monday we have the yen.
So we have the yen. Okay.
Sometime, yeah.
Yeah, and so we can consider the pound yen or the euro yen.
Okay.
Then the pound US dollar.
Okay.
And then the pound Swiss.
What about the Kiwi?
As I have said previously, several weeks ago, when the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie are not in the list, you can always consider to add them to the pairs you monitor, because they are, for the moment, for many months now, the most volatile pair usually.
Yeah. And I read somebody saying that it was the most volatile because they're quite small, so they get pushed around really easily.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons, indeed. But as retail traders, there is no problem to trade small pairs like the pound Kiwi and the pound. The volume are still big enough for retail traders. Yeah.
Okay, so leftovers from Monday, the yen.
So we have the yen, okay.
Okay, and 5 o'clock we have the euro.
The euro, okay.
And the Kiwi can come out any time that day.
And so let's keep the Kiwi. Okay. So we will have the euro yen or the pound yen. So we have the same choice. Then the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Sorry, did you say pound yen?
Pound yen, yes.
Oh, okay. I was thinking euro. Okay.
So euro yen or pound yen.
Yep.
Or if you want similarly pound yen or euro yen. Then the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then we have to take the euro pound.
Okay. Right. And so for Wednesday, we have leftovers from Tuesday of the Kiwi.
So the Kiwi, okay.
And the CAD.
The CAD, okay.
And that's it. These ones come out after 5, so, okay.
So we will have the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
Then the pound CAD.
Yep.
And then the pound yen.
Okay. And for Thursday, we have leftovers from Wednesday, which, okay, the yen.
The yen, yes.
And the Aussie.
The Aussie, yeah.
And then on Thursday itself, we have the euro.
The euro, yes.
And that's it.
That's it, okay. So we will have for the first pair the euro yen.
Oh, okay.
We can take the euro yen or the pound yen. We can take both of them, the euro yen or pound yen.
Yep.
Then we will have again the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
And then the euro pound.
Okay, and for Friday, we have leftovers from Thursday, which are the Kiwi.
The Kiwi, okay.
It's pretty close to the cutoff, so 5 p.m.
Yeah.
And we've got the pound.
The pound, finally.
And the CAD.
And the CAD, okay. So we will have more choices. So the first choice will be the pound Kiwi or pound Aussie.
Yep.
Then the pound CAD. And then we can take the pound yen.
Okay. So just to watch out on Monday, we've got the pound dollar here. The dollar is on holiday that particular day. So
yeah, let me give another choice instead of the pound US dollar. So we can keep the pound US dollar because for the London session the pound US dollar can be traded, but we can add then let's see, we already have the pound yen, we have the pound Swiss,
Euro dollar? Oh no, sorry.
No. We
not much going.
not much going. We can take the euro pound. The euro pound.
Okay. Okay. And right. So what we've got here is trimmed it down from 7 to 5 pairs per day. The first ones are the ones that are sort of like the tier 1 lot. So if you're going to be looking at any pairs, keep an eye on this for. And if nothing is really working for you, then drop down to this third line down here. And that's how to use it. It's best to keep to only a few pairs that you're actually monitoring, though, so that you don't jump around and try and you lose your focus. So it's better to keep focus on something that's not actually moving, rather than switching around, changing horses midstream all the time and actually falling in and drowning and missing out on movements. Okay. Any questions? Yeah. Sounded like my headset just dropped out. No, I'm still talking. Okay, there's been no questions, so I'll just save this and move on out of here. So if you have any questions, please ask. Thanks, John. Managed to mash up both of your names. Jim Comey. Okay, here we go. And what else do we need? Okay, critical events, Eusebio.
Nothing changed in comparison with what is already mentioned in the website.
Okay. It only seems like you're not answering. Could you still hear me then?
I have not heard you for a few seconds, so if you have asked a question, I have not heard your question, Chris.
Yeah, I was asking if you could hear me. So, okay, when I hear this funny high-pitched sound in my headset, I know that you can't hear me, so that's cool. Thanks, Edward. Yeah, it makes a noise in my headset, so I'll be careful. Okay, so all I was saying was it seemed just like the other day that we were going to go to war with Iran and the US was going to do that, but it's all sort of quietened down now. Hey, Craig. So we've got nothing to change in the critical situations, and any comments about I don't have it, about your pair bias stuff, Eusebio?
No, nothing special.
Okay.
It's going fine, so.
Okay.
In the Excel spreadsheet, the colors are not saved correctly. So the direction of the arrows are correctly saved, but not the colors.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on with that. So, so what Eusebio is saying, the pound yen might show red arrows up here instead of green ones, but like he says, the direction is correct. Haven't figured it out and don't quite have the time to do that at the moment. So for those of you who are not sure about this, this is a subscription service Eusebio gives to give an idea on what bias the pair has overall, so that if you're trading a pair, you don't necessarily have to rely completely on the slow bias to get your direction. If it conflicts with this, then you use Eusebio's spreadsheet, which tends to be a bit more accurate and give you a bit more direction. Thanks, Bruce. And okay, I think we're just coming up to the end of the beta testing for it. So if as well as the short-term bias that Eusebio plugs through when he's available, and you've been away a bit this week with some appointments, when Eusebio is available, when this changes through the day, he starts generally just before London Open and finishes, you didn't put it in here, around about...
I have forgotten, it was for the London close. It was for the London close, yeah.
So that's about 12 New York. So he runs for, what is it, 9 hours-ish, 8 to 9 hours with this. So like the full London session. And also provides the long-term bias if you're interested in that, if you're doing something like end-of-day trading. So there are all those over there as well. If he updates something in here, so this is the main list of all the different pairs that we've got, the top 28, some indices, gold, metals, and some extra bits like bonds and the VIX. And when these are modified, if they're also in the shortlist, then the short-term list will show the longer-term bias as well at the same time.